The cell was quiet. Only the hum of alien machines echoed in the air. Inside the cold metal walls sat a human. His name was Ethan, but to the aliens, he was only the prisoner. He sat on the floor, his hands chained, his head lowered. Weeks had passed since he had spoken a word. To the guards, he was nothing more than a curiosity, a dangerous relic from a world most had forgotten. But to Lyra, he was something else. Lyra was not like the others of her kind. She was young, curious, and restless. The elders warned her many times, "Do not go near the human. Do not touch him. His kind is dangerous, unpredictable." But those warnings only made her curiosity burn brighter. Why were they so afraid of a single human? He looked broken, weak, and silent. What power could he possibly hold? That night, when the halls were quiet and the guards had left, Lyra walked into the chamber. Her soft steps echoed against the floor. The dim light caught the silver of Ethan's chains. He raised his head slowly. His eyes, tired yet sharp, met hers. For a moment, Lyra felt her chest tighten. His gaze was not empty. It carried fire. She whispered, "Human, can you hear me?" Ethan said nothing. Only silence. Lyra stepped closer, her hands trembling. She knew this was forbidden. If the elders found her here, she would be punished. But her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She reached out her hand. For the first time, alien skin touched human skin, and something happened. Ethan's body stiffened. His breathing grew heavy, fast. A strange warmth spread from his hand into Lyra's fingers. His pulse raced beneath her touch, strong like thunder. Lyra gasped. She pulled her hand back in shock. What is this? Why does your body change?" "When I touch you?" Ethan finally spoke. His voice was rough, but steady. "No alien has ever touched me before." Lyra stared at him, her heart racing. "But why? Why does your form react like this?" Ethan only looked at her with a faint, tired smile. "Because you don't understand what it means to be human." Those words echoed inside her. What it means to be human. Lyra shook her head, confused. She was supposed to fear him. She was supposed to see a dangerous beast. Not this. Not someone who felt alive, burning with something her people never carried. She whispered, "You are not what they told us you are." Ethan lowered his eyes again, saying nothing more. Lyra stood frozen, her fingers tingling from the strange energy she felt. She had touched other species before: cold skin, warm skin, smooth or rough, but none of them made her heart pound like this. None of them carried this strange force. It was as if the human's body held secrets that no alien ever knew. But before she could ask more, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Guards, panic surged through her. If they saw her here, if they saw her touching the human, both of them would suffer. Ethan's voice broke the silence again, quiet but sharp. "Go, before they find you." Lyra hesitated. Her chest ached with questions she couldn't yet ask. But she knew he was right. She turned, rushing toward the door, just as the heavy alien guards entered from the far side. She slipped into the shadows, her heart racing, her hands still burning from the human's touch. The guards looked at Ethan. "Still silent?" One muttered. Ethan did not answer. His eyes flickered once toward the doorway where Lyra had escaped. Then, slowly, he lowered his head again. The guards laughed. A weak creature, not worth the fear the elders speak of. But Ethan's faint smile returned, hidden beneath his silence. For the first time in weeks, the human had felt the warmth of another being's hand. And he knew soon everything would change. That night, Lyra could not sleep. She sat in her chamber, staring at her trembling hands. She remembered the heat, the pulse, the life that flowed through Ethan's body. Her mind repeated his words, "Because you don't understand what it means to be human." She whispered to herself, "Then I will learn." She did not yet know it, but that forbidden's touch was the beginning of something far greater. Something her people feared, and something the galaxy was not ready for. Because when a human is touched, not just by the hand, but by trust, by curiosity, by defiance, it awakens secrets no alien had ever known. Asterisk Lyra could not sleep. Her fingers still remembered the heat from the human skin. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his gaze tired, yet burning with something alive. The elders had told her humans were dangerous, unpredictable, not to be touched. But what she felt was not danger. It was something else. Something she could not name, and that only made her want to return. The next night, when the fortress halls were quiet, Lyra slipped back into the chamber. The guards were gone. Only the hum of machines filled the air. Ethan sat in the same place, chained, silent. He did not look surprised when she entered. His eyes followed her calmly, as if he already knew she would come back. Lyra's heart pounded. She whispered, "I should not be here." Ethan gave a small, broken laugh. "Then why are you?" She could not answer. All she knew was that she needed to touch him again. She needed to understand. Slowly, she stepped closer and reached out. Her fingers brushed his hand. Instantly, Ethan's breathing quickened. His chest rose and fell, his heart thundering under her touch. His skin grew warmer, alive with energy that made her shiver. Lyra gasped. Again, the same reaction. Ethan looked into her eyes. "Because no alien has ever dared to touch me before. Not like this." She frowned, her voice shaking. "But why? Why does your body change when I touch you?" Ethan's lips curled into the faintest smile. "Because you don't understand. Humans are different. We are made to respond. To fight, to feel, to survive." Lyra pulled her hand back, trembling. Her mind raced. She had studied many species. None reacted like this. No heartbeat so strong, no warmth so intense. It was as if his body carried a fire inside. "Survive," she whispered. "That is why they fear you." Ethan nodded slowly. "Your kind fears what they cannot control. That is why I am here." Lyra stared at him. "And if they discover what I felt tonight?" His eyes hardened. "Then they will destroy me. And maybe you too." Silence fell. Between them, the weight of his words pressed on her chest. She knew he was right. Yet she could not stop. Her curiosity was stronger than fear. She reached out again, this time holding his hand longer. And then it happened. A sudden flash burst in her mind. Images, fast and violent. Worlds burning under alien fire. Humans standing against impossible odds. A blue planet, scarred but unbroken. Voices shouting, laughing, crying. Lyra staggered back, clutching her head. What was that?" Ethan's chains rattled as he leaned forward, his voice sharp. "You saw it, didn't you? The truth." Her breaths came fast, her body shaking. "I saw war. I saw your world. I felt your pain." Ethan's eyes glowed with something fierce. "That is what it means to be human. We carry our past inside us, not just memories in the mind, but in the blood, in the touch." Lyra's body trembled. No species she knew could pass visions like that. No being could carry history in their very flesh. And yet, this human did. Her voice cracked. "No alien ever told us this." "They don't know," Ethan said softly. "Or maybe they don't want to know." Lyra's heart raced. If the elders discovered she had seen these visions, they would never forgive her. They feared humans for a reason, because even broken, even chained, a single human still carried power no alien could explain. But she could not stop. She had touched the truth, Before she could speak again, a sound cut through the silence. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, deliberate. Lyra froze. The chamber door slid open. A tall alien guard stepped inside, his eyes narrowing. He had seen her. The guard sneered. I wondered why the human has not broken yet. Now I see. You've been here, touching him. Dangerous curiosity, girl. Lyra's chest tightened. It was only silence. The guard's eyes flashed with cruel amusement. You think you can play with this creature? And you will learn why our people keep them locked. Ethan's voice cut through the tension, low but sharp. Leave her out of this. The guard laughed. Still has fire in him, even in chains. He stepped closer, towering over Lyra. If you care for her, human, you will watch as I teach her why we do not touch your kind. Lyra's heart pounded in terror. For the first time, she realized she was in true danger, not because of Ethan, but because of her own people. But even in fear, she whispered to herself, I saw the truth, I touched it, and I cannot turn back now. The guard shadow fell across her, and in the corner of the cell, Ethan's eyes burned not with fear, but with something far older, something the galaxy had tried to bury. The human was waking. Asterisk. The alien guard's shadow stretched across the chamber floor. His voice was sharp, filled with cruel satisfaction. You should not be here, Lyra. He hissed. The elders will know of your betrayal. Lyra's chest tightened. She wanted to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. Her people's law was clear: no alien was to touch the human, not even look at him too closely. And now she had broken that law. But Ethan did not bow his head like a prisoner. His eyes locked on the guard, burning with defiance. Leave her? Alone? Ethan growled. The guard smirked. Even chained, you bark like a beast. But your kind is finished, human. You are a relic, a danger we have caged. He stepped closer, grabbing Lyra's arm. His grip was cold, cruel. Something inside her rebelled. She tried to pull away. Let me go, the guard sneered. You touched him, didn't you? You felt the fire. Now you know why your kind fears his. Ethan's chains rattled as he strained against them. Let her go. The guard only tightened his hold. Lyra winced in pain. And then, without thinking, she reached out with her free hand and touched Ethan again. The moment her fingers brushed his skin, everything changed. A shock of energy surged through her. Her strength returned in a rush. She yanked her arm free from the guard's grip with sudden force that startled even herself. The guard staggered back, eyes wide. Impossible. Lyra's hand shook as she stared at Ethan. What is happening? To me? Ethan's voice was calm, but his eyes were fierce. Now you understand. Humans do not just fight with fists. We carry something deeper. And when you touched me, it awakened in you too. Lyra trembled. She remembered the visions from before, the burning skies, the blue planet, the unbroken will. It was not just memory. It was power. The guard snarled. You are cursed now, girl. The elders will see this as treason. He raised his weapon, a glowing staff aimed at Ethan. But Lyra stepped in front of the human. Her voice shook, but her stance was firm. No, you will not harm him. The guard laughed darkly. You protect him? Foolish child. You think this thing cares for you? He thrust the staff forward only, for Lyra to grab it with her bare hands. The weapon burned hot, but she held. Strength surged through her body. With a sudden burst, she shoved the guard back. The staff clattered to the ground. The guard's eyes widened in fear. This is wrong. No alien should have strength from a human's touch. He backed toward the door. The elders must know. You are both dangerous. He fled, his footsteps echoing down the hallway. Lyra stood frozen, staring at her hands. They were trembling, glowing faintly with the energy she felt when she touched Ethan. I don't understand, she whispered. Ethan's chains rattled as he leaned closer. It is simple. Your people told you we are dangerous. They were right, but not in the way you think. We are not monsters. We are survivors. Our bodies carry the memory of every struggle, every fire, every fight. Lyra turned to him, her eyes wide. And when I touched you, it passed into me. Ethan nodded. You saw our past, and now a part of it lives in you. Her heart raced. No alien had ever spoken of this. No elder had ever explained why humans were kept in silence, hidden away. Lyra whispered, "This is the secret they tried to bury." Ethan's voice was quiet, almost sad. Yes, they fear what will happen if the truth spreads. They fear what happens when others realize the strength of humanity is not gone. Lyra's hands clenched. Then why keep you alive? Why not destroy you? Ethan's eyes flickered with something sharp. Because they don't dare. Even chained, even alone. One human can change everything, and they know it. Her body shook, but not with fear anymore. For the first time, she felt something new courage. But that courage quickly turned to dread when alarms rang through the fortress. Red lights flashed across the chamber. The guard had told the elders. Soldiers were coming. Ethan looked at her. Calm Eden in chains. You must go. If they find you here again, they will not let you live. Lyra's breath caught. Every instinct told her to run. But deep inside, she knew she couldn't. She had seen the fire. She had touched the truth. She whispered, "No, I will not leave you. Not now." Ethan studied her, then gave a faint smile. "Then be ready, because the moment you touched me, Lyra, your life stopped belonging to the world you knew." The door slammed open. Armed guards stormed inside, weapons glowing. Lyra's heart pounded. She looked at Ethan one last time, her voice steady despite her fear. "Then I choose this path." The guards surrounded them, their eyes cold and merciless. Asterisk the chamber filled with red light as the alarms blared. Guards poured through the doorway, weapons raised, their armor shining with cold precision. Lyra's heart pounded in her chest. She stood frozen, the echo of Ethan's words still burning in her mind. "The moment you touched me, your life stopped belonging to the world you knew." Guards fanned out, forming a wall of glowing rifles. Their leader barked, "Step away from the human, Lyra. Now." Her people's eyes bore into her cold, merciless. If she obeyed, she might live. If she refused, she would be branded traitor. Ethan's gaze locked with hers. He didn't speak, but his silence said everything. Lyra took a breath. Then, with trembling hands, she stepped in front of him. "No," she whispered. The guards stiffened. Murmurs rippled through the ranks. No one defied the elders. No one protected a human. The leader sneered. "You dare shield this beast? You will face judgment." Lyra's voice shook, but she forced it out. "He is not a beast. He carries something. We were never told. Something powerful." The soldiers laughed bitterly. "Foolish girl. You've been touched by his corruption." But Lyra was done being silent. "No, I saw his world. I felt it. And now I know why you keep them hidden. You are afraid of what they are." The leader raised his weapon. Enough. The rifle hummed. With energy, ready to fire Dot, and then it happened again. Dot, as the weapon's glow lit the chamber. Lyra felt it, the surge, the fire inside her veins. Her hand reached instinctively for Ethan's arm, brushing his skin. Energy crackled through her body, stronger than before. She lifted her other hand, and without thought, a shockwave burst outward. The guards staggered back, shields sparking. As the invisible force slammed into them, Lyra gasped, I didn't mean. Ethan's eyes glowed with pride. Good, now you see. Humanity's will is not just ours. It awakens in those who dare to stand with us. The guards regrouped quickly, their faces filled with fury. More footsteps echoed down the hall. Reinforcements were coming. Ethan's chains rattled as he pulled against them. His voice was urgent. Lyra, if you want to survive, you must free me. Now. Her hands trembled. But I don't know how. Your people designed these chains, Ethan said, his voice steady even as soldiers closed in. But they feared us too much to make them unbreakable. Use what I gave you. Focus. The fire in your blood, it will answer. Lyra pressed her, shaking hands to the glowing cuffs around his wrists. The metal burned her skin, but she didn't pull away. She closed her eyes, remembering the vision's earth sky, humans standing unbroken, the fire of survival. Her heart thundered. And then crack. The first cuff snapped open. Ethan exhaled sharply. Good. Again. The guards charged forward. Lyra cried out as she forced her strength into the second cuff. Sparks flew, then shattered metal fell to the ground. Ethan stood, free for the first time. The soldiers froze, their weapons trembling. They had never seen a human unchained. Ethan rolled his shoulders, the chains falling from his body. His voice was calm, but dangerous. You should have killed me while you had the chance. The guards fired. Blazing bolts of light shot. Across. The chamber dot, but Ethan moved. Even weakened, his speed was terrifying. He grabbed Lyra, pulling her behind a fallen console as the blasts tore through the walls. He looked her in the eyes. There's no going back now. You've chosen. Lyra's chest heaved. Then what do we do? A faint smile crossed Ethan's lips. We escape. And then we show them the truth. More guards stormed in, shouting orders. The fortress shook with the weight of their numbers. Ethan crouched low, his eyes scanning the room. His mind was already turning, planning, calculating. There's a service tunnel, he muttered. They used it to bring supplies. I saw it when they dragged me in. That's our way out. Lyra's pulse raced. But the guards, we fight if we must, Ethan said simply. But remember this, Lyra. Humanity doesn't fight to win. We fight to survive. And survival always finds a way. He grabbed a fallen staff weapon, its edge sparking with energy. Even in chains moments ago, he looked more dangerous than the dozen guards still standing. Lyra tightened her grip on the other staff. Her hands still glowed faintly with the human's fire. Together, they moved toward the hidden passage as the fortress roared with alarms. For the first time in her life, Lyra felt she was no longer just an observer of history. She was part of it, and somewhere deep inside, she knew if the galaxy learned what she had just discovered, nothing would ever be the same. Asterisk. The fortress shook with alarms. Red lights painted the walls, and the echo of heavy boots grew louder with every second. Ethan gripped the stolen staff weapon tightly. Lyra followed close behind, clutching her own, her hands still trembling from the fire that lingered in her veins. Stay low. Stay close, Ethan whispered. They slipped into the narrow service tunnel. The air inside was damp, filled with the hum of machinery and the hiss of pipes. Shadows stretched long in the red light. Behind them, voices shouted. Guards were spreading through the corridors. Lyra's chest tightened. They'll find us. Ethan glanced back, his eyes sharp even in the dim light. They'll try. But remember, fear makes them slower. They fear me. They fear what I am. Lyra swallowed. His words were true. She had seen the fear in the guard's eyes when his chains broke. But fear could also make soldiers reckless and reckless soldiers were dangerous. They moved deeper into the tunnel, their footsteps muffled on the metal floor. Lyra whispered, "What will happen if they catch us?" Ethan's reply was blunt. "They'll kill me, and they'll lock you away until you're nothing but silence." The thought made her blood run cold. But then she remembered the surge of power when she touched him, the fire that no elder had ever spoken of. That secret could not die here. She clenched her jaw. "Then we won't let them catch us." Ethan gave her a brief, approving nod. Suddenly, a light swept across the tunnel. A patrol is ahead. "Down!" Ethan hissed, pulling her against the wall. 2 guards passed, scanning the corridor. Their footsteps echoed, slow and methodical. Lyra's heart hammered. She pressed close to Ethan, feeling his steady breathing, but then her elbow brushed against a loose pipe. The clang echoed like thunder in the silence. The guards spun instantly, weapons raised. "There! Stop them!" Ethan shoved Lyra forward. "Run!" Blasts of energy sizzled past, scorching the walls. Lyra sprinted, her lungs burning as Ethan moved behind her, his stolen staff deflecting shots with crackling bursts of light. The tunnel curved, narrowing into darkness. Lyra stumbled, but Ethan caught her, pulling her onward. They ducked into a side passage, pressing themselves into the shadows. The guards stormed past, shouting orders. For a moment, silence returned. Only the hum of machines filled the air. Lyra's breath came in ragged gasps. They almost had us." Ethan's eyes glowed faintly in the red light. "Almost isn't enough. Almost is failure. Remember that." He crouched low, scanning the walls. His hand brushed over a panel, old and rusted. He struck it with. The staff sparks flew, and the panel cracked open, revealing a crawl space. "This way," he said. Lyra hesitated. The crawl space was dark and tight, barely wide enough for one person at a time. It's so small." Ethan's voice was firm. "That's why they won't expect us to use it. Go." Lyra took a deep breath and crawled inside. The air was thick with dust, choking her lungs. She pulled herself forward with trembling arms. Behind her, she could hear Ethan following, the faint scrape of his shoulders against metal. Every sound echoed. Every breath felt too loud. Then a distant boom shook the tunnel. Lyra froze. "What was that?" Ethan's voice was grim. "They're sealing the exits. We don't have much time." They pushed forward, the crawl space slanting downward. At last, it opened into a wider chamber, a forgotten storage bay filled with crates. And shadows. Lyra stumbled to her feet, coughing from the dust. Ethan followed, his presence filling the room with quiet strength. He scanned the space. "Good. We're closer to the outer walls. If we can reach the lower hangar, we can escape." Lyra's hope sparked, then quickly dimmed. "Escape? How?" "We're surrounded by soldiers. We have no ship." Ethan's faint smile was unsettling. "You'll see." Before she could ask, a metallic clatter echoed above them. Guards dropped into the chamber from an upper hatch, their weapons glowing. "End of the line, traitor," one shouted. Lyra lifted her staff, fear tightening her grip. Ethan stepped in front of her, his eyes blazing with defiance. The guards advanced. Lyra's heart pounded. She wanted to run, but something deep inside whispered, "Don't." She reached out her fingers, brushed Ethan's arm. The fire surged again, burning hot through her veins. Her staff glowed, brighter than before. The guards hesitated, their faces paling. What is she?" One stammered. Ethan's voice cut like steel. "She is what happens when you try to bury the truth." Then he moved. With inhuman speed, he struck the nearest guard, the staff crackling as it sent the soldier flying. Lyra followed, swinging her weapon. The energy burst from her strike, knocking 2 more back. The storage bay erupted in chaos. And for the first time, Lyra wasn't just running. She was fighting Dot by the time the last guard fell. The room stank of smoke and ozone. Lyra's chest heaved, her arms trembling. She stared at the glowing staff in her hands. I did that, she whispered. Ethan's voice was calm but proud. Yes, you did. And this is only the beginning. In the silence that followed, Lyra realized something terrifying. She wasn't afraid anymore. She wanted to see how far this power could go. But outside, the fortress was still alive with alarms. And beyond its walls, the galaxy was waiting. Asterisk. Fortress shook with thunder as alarms screamed across every corridor. Lyra and Ethan stood in the ruined storage bay, surrounded by fallen guards, their weapons still glowing in their hands. Ethan's eyes burned with urgency. This is it, Lyra. One last push. The hangar is just beyond that wall. Lyra's chest heaved, her mind racing. But more soldiers are coming. We can't fight them all. Ethan's faint smile held no fear. We don't need to. We only need one ship. Before Lyra could answer, a blast echoed above them. The ceiling split open, and a squad of armored soldiers dropped down. Their weapons gleamed. The leader snarled, "You cannot escape, human. You cannot escape, traitor." Lyra gripped her staff tighter, the fire in her veins burning hotter than ever. For a moment, fear flickered, but then she remembered the power that had surged through her, the vision of Earth's sky, the memory of freedom. She stepped forward, voice steady. "We are already free." The guards opened fire. Ethan moved like lightning. His staff spun, deflecting blasts, sending sparks across the chamber. Lyra joined him, her strikes glowing brighter than before. The air shook with force each time her weapon met theirs, but the soldiers kept coming. More shadows filled the upper hatch. More boots clanged against the floor. The fortress was throwing everything it had. Ethan's voice cut through the chaos. "Lyra, remember what I told you. The fire grows when it is shared. Touch me, now." Without hesitation, she reached for him. Their hands locked, and in that instant, the chamber exploded with light. A shockwave burst outward, hurling guards against the walls. Weapons shattered, armor cracked, and the floor itself groaned beneath the force. When the light faded, silence filled the room. Dozens of soldiers lay unconscious, the air thick with smoke. Lyra's chest heaved. She stared at her glowing hands. What are we becoming? Ethan's eyes held both pride and sorrow. Not becoming, awakening. This is what they feared. This is why they chained us. The distant roar of engines echoed through the walls. Lyra turned through a cracked doorway. She saw the hangar. Dozens of ships rested inside, sleek and silver, guarded by towering machines. And at the center of the hangar stood something older, darker, an ancient human vessel, half buried in scaffolding. Ethan's gaze locked on it. There, that ship will carry us out. Lyra's breath caught. But it's ancient. It doesn't even look alive. Ethan's lips curved into a grim smile. Don't be fooled. Human ships don't die. They wait. They sprinted toward the hangar, weaving between broken crates as alarms blared louder. Guards shouted from above, aiming down from balconies. Bolts of energy rained from every side. Ethan deflected what he could, Lyra sending bursts of fire when panic nearly overtook her. Finally, they reached the ancient vessel. Its hull was blackened, scarred by battles long forgotten. Strange symbols lined its surface, glowing faintly as Ethan placed his hand on the metal. The ship answered. The lights inside flickered awake. Engines rumbled like a sleeping beast stirred from slumber. The ground shook as energy surged through its frame. Lyra's eyes widened. It knows you." Ethan's voice was low. "It remembers. Ships like this, They remember every human who has ever touched them. And now it remembers you. The hangar erupted as guards poured in from every entrance. Ethan pulled Lyra toward the ramp as it lowered with a hiss. Go, inside. They scrambled into the ship's dark corridors, the air thick with dust and age. The vessel seemed alive, its walls humming, its systems waking. Ethan moved to the command chair. Hold on. The ship roared to life. Engines blazed, brighter than anything Lyra had ever seen. The vessel shook, tearing against the clamps that bound it. Outside, guards screamed orders. Heavy cannons fired, but the ship's shields flared, absorbing the blasts. With a thunderous boom, the ancient vessel ripped free from its prison and surged upward, tearing through the hangar roof. Metal screamed, alarms wailed, but nothing stopped it. Lyra clutched the chair, her eyes wide. We're flying, Ethan. We're really flying. Ethan's hands gripped the controls, his eyes burning with fire. Yes, and now the galaxy will. See what they tried to bury. The fortress shrank below as the ship soared into the stars. For a moment, silence filled the cockpit. Lyra turned to him. What happens now? Ethan's voice was steady, filled with purpose. Now, we show them. We show every world the truth about humanity. That we were never weak. That we were never broken. That anyone who dares to touch. The fire can rise with us. Lyra's chest tightened. She knew her people would call her a traitor, a fool. But as she stared out at the endless stars, she no longer cared. For the first time in her life, she felt alive. The ancient human ship cut through the void, its engines screaming like thunder, carrying them into the unknown, and in the silence of space, the galaxy itself seemed to tremble, because humanity's secret was no longer hidden dot, it was awake.